Hello, this is Diane Cox. Welcome back to my channel. And tonight it's a bit of a tradition to speak of things of a spooky nature at Christmas, at Saturnalia, at Yule, all the lovely solstice celebrations that are about to go on. And I thought I would tell you one of my own little spooky stories for these lovely dark nights if you're in the northern hemisphere, and obviously here in the south it's all very sunny still, but we still have the lovely evenings. So I'm going to tell you a little story, a true story that happened to me. And this is how it starts. So I had a friend who had a house, seemed quite a normal house, and I often used to go round to my friend's house and spend a lot of time there and watch films and stay over and have a very nice fun time. And this house was a very bizarre design. I always thought it was a really odd design because it had all these kind of dead ends in the house. It was quite weird. And what you could see, if you were sitting in the lounge watching telly or watching a film, you could see out to the dining room and the kitchen beyond. There was one door. There was nothing else in the lounge. There was windows, but there was no other door in or out apart from this one door that went back into the kitchen and back into the dining area. And you could also see the stairs going up to the bedrooms and stuff. And it was always a bit weird, and I wasn't the only one to mention. In fact, I was sitting there with some friends one night, and this one guy who was a bit of a joker, said, he kept just like shaking his head, and in the end he said, I keep seeing like a dark shadow out in the room. He says, I keep thinking it's like something like outside that's going in front of the light, or there's a bird flying by, but I keep seeing this like shadow in the dining room. And I'd already kind of seen this thing, so had other people, and it was all a bit bonkers. And I was like, yeah, I've seen it myself. And he says, but I can't get my head around it. I just don't know what it is. And he kept going out and having a look, and was like, So that was one of the things that was happening in this house. And then one night, I was sitting in the lounge, and I suddenly saw the bedroom light had gone on. One of the bedroom lights had gone on. And it's like, okay, I see, that's interesting. So obviously someone must have gone in. I think there was only 2 people in the house at the time, so I was like, why would there be in that bedroom? That was the bedroom I used to sleep in, but hey, okay. And so I went upstairs, and sure enough the light's on, and I just turned the light off. Now it was a dimmer switch, and all you had to do was tap it and the light would go off. If you wanted the light to slowly come up, you'd hold your finger on it and it would come up. And then if you wanted it to dim down, you'd hold your finger on it and it would dim down. Very nice. Tap on and tap for off. So I went downstairs and watching the film. Not few minutes, like 20 minutes later, this light comes on again. I was like, I'm gonna have to get that checked out. There's obviously something wrong with the wiring there. There's something going on. So I went back upstairs, had a look round, everything's normal, tapped it off, and there you go. And then that was that. And this started happening on a regular basis, that you'd be in the lounge, the light would go on, and not only it wouldn't just like come on, it would, like this, someone was holding their finger on the dimmer, it would slowly just come up. And it's like, oh wow. And then that was the room I used to sleep in when I was staying staying over. And it's like, oh, this is getting a bit freaky. And so I'd be staying there at a weekend or something. And what started happening is not only was the light just coming up when I was watching the film, or we were in the lounge and everyone saw it, everyone was like, oh my God, that light's on again. And I'd go up and it started getting more regular. Sometimes it would just come on. Sometimes I'd sit there watching it and not watching the film and watching the light. It's like, oh, okay. And so it just kept happening and happening for weeks and weeks. Got it checked out by an electrician, and nothing's wrong with it. It's fine. The wiring's fine. Everything's fine, which is even more freaky. And then I was lying in bed, and this is on quite a few occasions, but the first time it happened, I lay in bed and I woke up and the lights are on. I was like, oh, okay. You're like woken up because the lights are on. So I get out of bed, turn it off, go back to sleep. An hour or so later, the lights are on. It's like, what on earth is going on? Now, you know what I'm like. If you watch my channel, you know exactly what I'm like. I'm like, okay, spirit, there's something happening here. You want to make yourself known. Okay, what's going on? All right, just speak to me. What do you want to say? And so this kept going on. Woken up in the middle of the night. Woken up 2 or 3 times in the night. And it was like, oh man, this is getting really bizarre and really actually quite freaky. And it started getting more frequent. So you go to bed, lights on, turn it off, lights come on, turn it off. And I, on 1 or 2 occasions, because obviously not sleeping very well, would be awake and the lights would just slowly come on. It wasn't a tap, it was like someone was holding the dimmer. I had their finger on the dimmer and the light would slowly come up. And I'd look in the position of where the dimmer was and the switch was, and it'd be like, oh my God, I can't see anything, but boy, can I feel it. And then this all grew to a big, massive crescendo, where one night I was in the bed and I woke up, and I tell you, it's giving me goose pimples now just recalling it. And it was like someone was like doing this on the dimmer switch. The lights were going mental. They were like flashing on and off. They were going up and down and flashing and going up and down. It was absolutely freaky. And I freaked out. I got out of bed and I went out of the room as I like ah! and like obviously people were like, what's happening? It's like, oh God, the lights have just gone mental. It's like someone's just like playing a tune on the dimmer. And they were like, okay, and we all sat in there for a bit, and it was like, oh, okay, what is going on, trying to commune with the spirit that's doing it, and what does it actually want to say. And eventually, well, obviously it calmed down. We kind of touched the dimmer and it all stopped, went off. And then I went, got back into bed, promising myself it was the last time I'd ever stay there, and especially in this room. And I turned over onto my side, kind of communing with this spirit, just going, I can't understand through light tapping. Obviously, there's a message here. And I lay on my left-hand side. And I got boffed, it felt like a kick or a shove on my right hip. And it's really funny because when you watch Ghost and you see how much effort spirit has to put in to actually touch you like that. Oh my God, did I scream, and I was out of there. That was just like, I've actually been shoved by a ghost. I got shoved in the butt by a ghost spirit, some spirit, and it was like, okay. And what eventually happened is that I found out from getting the history of this place that there was a lady who had died in the house, had fallen down the stairs and died in the house. And basically people who were really good at kind of getting the message from spirit said, you know, she's not quite passed over. She's kind of thinks that, you know, there's someone in her space. Like, yeah, that was me, and evidently that was the room that she used to sleep in. And it was the most bizarre experience, and I have had, luckily, many experiences with the unseen world, but that, I mean, literally to be boffed by a spirit so much that you literally rocked. I literally rocked. It was like, oh, right in the rump. It was like, you know, get out of my bed, get out of my space and stuff. So, and it's all completely, wow. To have that reality is completely true. This is what actually happened, and I stopped staying there quite soon after, and people still saw the shadows and everything. Do you know, these little things that were moving around? So that was a very interesting experience, and that is one of my Christmas spooky stories for now, and if I think it's appropriate, I'll share some more, because I feel I'm very lucky to have had a lot of experience with the unseen world, and you know, once you just kind of communicate with them and say, I know you're here and I know you're trying to get through to me, you know, I'm listening, I'm listening, so, you know, let's see what we can do. Send me the messages. So there you go. That is my one of my experiences, my true ghost stories for this lovely solstice period. So enjoy your evening, and I hope you've got some spooky stories you're going to be sharing around the fire or at a lovely cozy evening with your friends and family and stuff. So have a great one, have fun. Cheers, bye bye.